Hello, everyone, and welcome to 4 Deep Sports Talk here at 1320 AM WARA. We are here with the Foxborough girls basketball team with the 2023 Coach of the Year for 4 Deep Sports Talk, Lisa Downs, in studio with us today. Caleb, do you want to? Oh, actually, you want to introduce yourselves and what position you play?
I'm Michelle Brandt, and I'm a forward.
I'm Maddie Mayer, and I'm a shooting guard.
And I'm Coach Lisa Downs.
All right, so want to dive into some questions?
Yeah, so my name is Caleb Tremblay, and my first question is actually for Coach. What are your core beliefs when coaching?
I really think that, girls these days really need to have that team camaraderie that you need to, you really build it in the off season. And then once that gets rolling, you're able to be successful, not just off the court, but that will bring the energy and the enthusiasm and the overall will to, help each other achieve things on the court. So I think it's just a matter of getting girls to really buy into to what we're trying to do in order to build a successful program. And that starts with just being good people off the court, not just to the community in general, but to each other. And then that's going to be, set up a good foundation for what we can do on the court. And then we work really, really hard.
All right, so my first question for you, Coach. What did it mean to you by winning this award?
It was great. It was a fantastic night. So Dominic, really, he did a lot of homework when he was putting up the names for the potential coaches of the year. When then he notified me that I was up for it, it was exciting. The girls knew about it, and they put in just a few votes, I think, and. And then just to have won that and then go to that night of recognition was just it was a nice cap off to a great season.
Justin, you want to add on to that?
Sure. My first question for you, Coach, is what do you think is the best part of winning your award?
Geez, I think it actually, because it came a little bit after the season had ended, it was just an opportunity for me to reflect back on the season. So there's been it was so much energy and enthusiasm and all the fun bells and whistles that go with winning. And then it was a little bit of not a letdown, but it's kind of sad as a coach to then watch your team go and, play other sports for their spring sports, and you don't have that 2 hours with them every day, which I honestly looked forward to. It's just, these girls are something special. But then to not have that, it was nice to then be brought back to the ceremony and be recognized for a successful season. And it gave me an opportunity to, like I said, to reflect on the season and just remember some of the great times that we had along the way.
All right, so my next question for you, Coach, is has playing basketball taught you to become a head coach?
Absolutely. So I played basketball all through high school and through college, and it showed me, I was able to play for some very different types of coaches, so it kind of showed me what I valued in a coach. And my college coach, Judy Sullivan, was everything I wanted to be. And she was tough on us, extremely tough, but also you knew that you could count on her when you weren't feeling great, the chips are down, you needed some help that wasn't basketball related, and she was always there for us. And I just knew that she was someone that she could get the most out of her players because she was such a dynamic coach, and that she knew the game front and back, inside and out, and she taught us really well with a strong hand, but also, just she had that caring side to her too, that once you stepped off the court, she was an everyday person that you knew you could talk to about things that were bothering you and such. And that's what I've tried to carry through and emulate in the way that I coach at the high school.
Any of you guys have more questions?
Yeah, I got a few questions. I got a lot of questions.
All right.
Antron Peoples, I just wanted to know, I want to say also thank you for coming to be a part of 4D Sports Talk, and your players here. We got Michelle Brandt and Maddie Mayer.
Mayer, yep.
Mayer, like John Mayer. Huh?
Yes, okay. Yes.
Mayer, so 12 years of coaching. I think it's around 12.
Yes.
Under three he was assistant coach under three head coaches, and then they decided to give the man, the woman, the job, right? So, and I want to say congratulations also on your Boston Globe Coach of the Year. She got Boston Globe Coach of the Year.
Thank you.
So I think Dom was on to something, right? Dom knew before he really, think we need to give Dom some credit for that. You're doing his research, like you said. He's in some. I want to ask the young ladies. She's been here for all 4 years of your high school basketball career. Coming in as a sophomore, I'm assuming she wasn't your freshman coach, right? So coming in as a sophomore, what was the word in the streets about Miss Downs? And when leaving, how did it change your perspective?
I can actually talk in this one.
Okay, here we go.
I'm not going to lie, it was definitely very intimidating. She would come to all our games from like 4th grade all the way up to freshman year and watching our JV games.
Absolutely.
She's just very committed to the program, so it just made me feel really intimidating when I was joining her team. But after, complete opposite, like a complete switch of the flip. We got to know her really well, and we all became really close, and so much different perspective now.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I also totally agree with Maddie. I always would see her like in middle school, like watching our games. So I always knew like going into high school, like she was definitely a very big part. Like it was very nerve-wracking, but the JV coach was very similar to her. And so it definitely helped getting ready to be on her varsity team. But then leaving the season, like it's like totally different. Like we were all very, very close with her. I never expected that to happen.
Right. I, as I sit here and watch the camaraderie, the relationship that you all have, I can tell that you all are very close. You were telling the stories before we came on air, and it just reminds me of when I was in high school. Of course, it helps also that I was a Warrior, also at Riverdale Warriors in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. And I went to University of Tennessee, and you remind me of Pat Summitt, even the way you look. And Pat Summitt was somebody that I played football, but I love Pat Summitt. Mm-hmm. She knew all the football players. You seem to know your players.
Oh, yeah.
You seem to know your players. And what is something you could say about these two young ladies, the growth they've had?
I honestly, I feel bad saying this because I've had so many great players, but this team this year, in my 12 years, is by far my favorite team.
Right.
And it comes from, I'm sorry for everybody else out there listening.
She loves you, right?
But these two seniors honestly set the tone. They may not have seen the minutes that some of the starters played in day after day, but they were by far the foundation of the team.
Absolutely.
So they set the tone, and it's hard to find seniors like them nowadays that aren't focused on me all the time.
Yep.
They were team first absolutely 100% of the time. And without that dynamic of having these two girls, I don't think we would have been as successful as we were. I honestly can say that.
Absolutely.
And everyone looked up to them. And we had some very young girls on the team this year that they were so welcoming, these girls, too. And, it can be intimidating to step on a court with these, what are they, 14 years old, to step on with juniors and seniors who have been with me for a couple years, and they know what I'm expecting. And I do have some high expectations. And in order for them to feel that comfortable transition from the middle school to high school, these girls eased the way. And
Yes,
I'm
ma'am.
very, very fortunate to have had them.
Absolutely. That's awesome. That's awesome.
So, Coach, you've been with Foxborough for more than 12 years? Maybe? Wow, that's a long time.
Yeah.
So these girls, I know they're going on. I'm sure you're going to miss them.
Yes.
So a shout out to the rest of the girls on the team. What was that last, when you finally won, what was that feeling like?
I'll let them answer this.
Yeah, there you go.
It was crazy. We were so excited. Like, I remember sitting and me and Maddie were just like, there's no way, like, we're actually about to win states. It was crazy, like, out-of-body experience.
Yeah, and like that last minute on the court, it was surreal because you knew what was going to happen. You were just waiting for the timer to go off, and when everyone like stormed the court, it was just a crazy feeling.
And Drake, I mean, they're a great team.
Yeah.
They have some star players on there as well. But 73 to 53, I mean, you got girls exploded in the third quarter, right?
Yeah.
So what was that like when you knew you were coming down to, this is it?
Well, it was kind of close. It was hard to tell early on. It was a
Yep.
little like back and forth. But that third quarter, that's when everything started to click. We started getting our confidence. It was a little tough with like the big stadium and the lights, because I know that was affecting some people. But once we got in the groove, and it felt good.
Right.
And how was it for you as well?
Well, I know that a lot of people were nervous because Drake it was like 10 minutes away from where we were
Oh,
playing, so
sure.
they had a lot of fans. And we had like a good amount, but they definitely had more than us, so it got a little nerve-wracking when it was like the score was pretty close. But once we got the lead, like we knew we were gonna win.
And so, shout out to the other girls. I took down a few names because I was like, wow. Izzy Chamberlain, Cameron Collins, Addie Reuter, Kaylee Sullivan, Ava Hill, Erin Foley, Kylie Sampson, Keegan McGuire, Reese Hassman. Shout out to them.
Yes.
I mean, that's when you know you have a team
Right.
that's come together and is going to win it.
I want to know, what one word do you think of when you hear your teammates? What
That
do you
was my
think?
next question. That's good.
What, like those names, like if you say those names, what does it make you think of? One word, just
I'd say humble.
humble,
Just straight off the bat.
humble,
I think I would agree with Maddie for that word.
humble. Everybody on your team's humble. You know what the job is. You know the job that needs to be done.
Yeah.
And you go handle that. That's awesome. That's awesome. I mean, I can imagine. I've been on a few championship teams, and it feels so good, right? It feels so good, that feeling when you know this is yours. And you know, a lot of people can't perform in those lights.
Right.
So like you said, that stage, when you get on that stage and the lights are on, who's going to make that crowd disappear first and get into that zone? And it took, the third quarter? You said third quarter?
Right.
They
And you knew.
exploded in the
That's
third
awesome.
quarter.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Love
So
it.
with that, we're going to take our first break, right?
Yes.
All right. Want to take it out?
Yeah, so you're listening to WARA 1320 AM, 4 Deep Sports Talk. We will be right back with more with the Foxborough girls basketball team with Coach Lisa Downs right after these messages.
No, that's fine.
I didn't hear what you
It's
said.
okay, Caleb.
All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to 4 Deep Sports Talk here at 1320 AM WARA. We are here with the Foxborough girls basketball team, state champions, I should say, with Lisa Downs.
And that's right. So I understand you were at the State House last week.
Yes, we
Or
were
this
actually
week?
there on Wednesday. It was a great day. We were met at the bus, spent an entire day there. We were toured around by our state representative, the Senator Paul Feeney, and then we got to meet with Governor Healy, which was very exciting because
Sure.
not just the fact that she's the governor, but she's a woman governor who actually played basketball at Harvard. So she has a deep love of the game as much, as we do. And she was able to really set some, have some talks with the girls, not just about what she does at the State House, but what sports in general has helped her to achieve in that role,
Right.
and what women in general are able to achieve. And it's just getting more and more. It's a lot of women power talk, and but then she brought into everything. She actually compared her run for governor as basketball season, whereas each day she had to prepare to set a certain goal for herself, achieve that goal. If she didn't get it, she would move on to the next one, and not look backwards but look forwards and set some goals for herself. But it was. It was not a short sprint. It was more of a marathon, which is kind of what a basketball season is like.
Absolutely.
That's wonderful. And so what happened over there with all the guys? You guys must have been so excited.
It was
so
great.
excited.
And I got to go in 2018 as well, when we won the state championship that year, when I met Charlie Baker.
Yep.
So that was nice, but this time we got to spend an entire day there. So we got the
Wow.
full tour of the State House. We didn't get that in 2018, nor were these girls there, obviously, at that time. So this was really new. Most of them had never been to the State House. A couple had been in a field trip when they were much younger. But to be, celebrated in the way that they were, we got to stand out in the balcony, and
Wow.
I think the duck boats were going by, and they must have thought we were famous people because they were all pointing and waving, and the girls really.
You are famous.
Yeah,
You're famous. You're famous.
That's
You are
right.
the
famous.
girls really drank that up.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Maddie and Michelle were not able to go because they had tests to be taken that day at the high school. So they did present each of the players with a citation from the House of Representatives signed by
That's nice.
our state representative Jay Barrows, and then also they got a even bigger thing to just outdo the other one.
That's awesome.
So this was in recognition of what we've done, and this was actually signed by our Senator Paul Feeney, and
Wow.
so each of the girls will get their citations today because unfortunately they didn't get to join us. So
That is
So,
nice.
congratulations, girls. That's quite an honor.
Thank you.
That's awesome. All right,
That is awesome.
I'm noted
Can
as
I-
the
can I-
paparazzi here. So,
okay,
girls, hold those up,
Hold
please.
those things up. Yeah, I want to see
And
it.
smile for the cameras.
Yeah. Don't break the camera, though.
Better late than never.
yes,
That's right.
this is true.
That's right.
Yeah, that's
What
nice.
an honor.
Yes, and fortunately for them, though, we did get to meet with Mr. Kraft at Gillette Stadium a few weeks
Wow.
ago, and they were able to be
Wow.
there and be part of that, and that was, I don't know, equally as impressive, but it was fun. we
Right.
got a personal tour by Mr. Kraft into his trophy room and took us down the field, and their names were going around.
Right.
Wow.
So that was a pretty fun day as well, and they got to be part of it, which is very. I wouldn't have gone without
Yeah.
them to that one.
We actually have a caller. Hello, caller. You are first to appear on 40 Sports Talk. Who am I speaking with?
I'm appearing. This is Dominic. How are you?
Hey, Dom. How are you?
There he is.
I'm appearing on the phone as we speak.
Do you have any questions for our guests?
Oh, I have a lot of questions, but my reception's kind of bad where I'm at. But, Coach, I had a question. When did you, as long as you've been doing this a while, when did you feel, or your coaching staff thought this was going to be a special season? Was this a certain part of the game, a certain part of the season, was it scrimmage? And this question might already have been asked. I hope it wasn't. I lost my connection where I'm at.
Can you repeat that, Dom?
Yes, I was wondering when Coach Downs and her staff thought this was going to be a special season. Was there a certain part when you thought the girls were yelling right on time?
Hey, Coach. Dom wanted to know what was the special part of was it coaching for the season, Dom?
No, but does she have headphones on?
Oh no. Want to get headphones for? Should I get the headphones for Coach?
Oh, hold
Okay.
sorry. All right,
She's on
I'm all
headphones.
set, Dom.
Coach, can you hear me?
I can.
So my question was to you, I don't know if this was asked, when did you think, or when did you and the coaching staff realize this was going to be a special group coming into the season?
I honestly had the thoughts prior to the season even starting, just watching them play in the summer league, which is, just kind of a dress rehearsal for the season, and that's more that a case of them getting to bond as a group. And I could see that the framework was already there. We had a very good team the previous season, but we were missing some of those puzzle pieces. And then when we saw our center, who's Addie Reuter, she's about 6'2", and she stepped up from the JV team and really put a lot of work in the off season. And so we were able to add that height into what we already had with our scorers. It was just more of a I could see the potential there probably as early as the end of December, early January, and they were just able to do some of the things that I've never had a team that was able to do. And the way that they share the ball is just something that you don't typically see in high school. And so they, once I saw that I didn't have a selfish player on the team, which is very unusual. And I think that just made us just such a very hard team to defend. So they never knew who was going to be the go-to girl in every game, because there were, 3, if not more, girls scoring in double figures every single night, and they weren't always the same ones. And so, but by January, I knew, without telling these girls, because I'm super superstitious, that if we continued to grow at the pace we were capable of growing at, there was no reason that we couldn't be the lone, the person standing alone at the end.
My last question, I should for you and the girls studio. What did if you as a coach and again your staff and these girls, the girls in the studio, what game did you use for measuring stick to decide that this team was finally starting to gel, and the girls as well, when they thought from their perspective, where they thought they were starting to gel? And that's it. I'm going to listen. I got to get going, Coach. I'm sorry I'm not there, but again, congratulations on the Coach of the Year award. Next year's another year. You never know.
I would say for that, definitely our team chemistry was shown, in the off season, especially during summer league. That's when we started to gel, and that's when things we knew were kind of going in our direction. And so I would say, yeah, summer league tryouts is when we started noticing that things were going to go our way.
I would agree with Maddie. I remember I was at Target, and then one of our players, Cameron Collins, her dad came over to me and was like, I hope you guys realize, you guys are going to be the state champions this year. I don't know if you guys have noticed it yet, but you guys are definitely going to win this year.
And there's even a video of one of our teammates, Erin, saying last year before the season even started that we were going to win the state championship.
Wow.
Are you still there, Dom?
I think he said he had to go.
Okay.
Oh, I
wasn't sure.
Yeah, I guess not.
You got his questions out.
Yeah, you can hang on.
I'm out of here.
All right, so I wanted to ask you girls, so you guys played at UMass Lowell for the championship, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Was there any, differences, between, playing there and besides, playing at the high school? Was it, different?
It was definitely different. It was very, very bright. It was, the stadium, everything is just, the noise was just, crazy. It was a lot of fun.
Right.
And even the lights was a huge part in the fact that there wasn't, a back wall. It was just all sort of an arena.
Right.
The lights, whenever you'd look up, it was sort of blinding. You couldn't really see the hoop. We noticed that during warm-ups. And then it was hard to, determine how far away the net was when you're shooting, because it was, a clear board and there wasn't a back wall.
It's different, right? It's
Definitely different.
They definitely, when the landscape changes,
Right.
your shot changes,
Yes,
and
definitely.
your hot spots. You got your spot where you can hit your jumpers and your mid range, and it does definitely change. And how long did it take you all to get adapted to that? To realize, that, it's different out here.
Yeah, I'd say it definitely a couple rounds of warm-ups. The first couple shots were a little off. It felt different. We had to adapt to that.
Absolutely. And you?
It definitely took a few rounds, going around, layups, shots, everything felt a little off, but everyone got in it.
Yeah.
There's also the different three-point line. So they have the college line.
Oh,
so there were
okay.
2 lines out
Okay.
there.
Right.
So
Yeah.
they had usually you look down, you see exactly where you are. You
Absolutely.
can judge how far you are for the basket. But if you see 2 lines, it
Yeah,
takes
yeah.
a second to
Yeah.
realize which one you're shooting at.
Yeah, absolutely. You had to fill that
yeah.
out. I bet that was
Yeah.
kind of that was kind of strange,
Right.
right? And it's not like you can look down and
No.
then take a shot.
Right.
You know, you have to feel it.
Right.
Yeah. Awesome.
All right, Seth, you're up. I mean, Sean, you're up. Sorry.
I have a question for Coach. So with all the success that you've had over the years, like, what's the next goal for you? You know, I mean, you've won at like a high level for 12 years, as Antoine was saying. So, like, what's the next step for you?
Honestly, a few years ago, I had considered moving on and you know, putting my hat in for some college jobs. But but that was a while. That was 5 years ago when we first went in. That was in 2018. And you know, and it actually I believe everything happens for a reason. And I know I would have been, I wouldn't have had these girls. I wouldn't have had this team if I had continued on, you know. And it was something that wasn't meant to be, and so and I'm very grateful that it wasn't. And now at this point, I'm just gonna, you know, stay on for a couple more years at Foxborough, and then just go off into retirement sometime. But my husband every year is like, so how many? Is this the last year? And I'm like, no, not yet. So,
Not yet.
but maybe I'll know when it is time. But I don't see myself leaving Foxborough.
All right, and with that, we are going to take our.
Oh, we only have 30 seconds left.
Okay.
Oh,
second
and
break.
please subscribe to our YouTube channel, all one word, 4 Deep Sports Talk, as I kill the time here. So we are listening to 4 Deep Sports Talk, talking with the state champion Foxborough Warriors with 2023 4 Deep Sports Talk Coach of the Year, Lisa Downs. And please call in at 508-222-1320. That is 508-222-1320. We will be right back with more right after these messages. Hey everyone, welcome back to 4 Deep Sports Talk here at 1320 AM WARA. We are here with the 2023 state champion Foxborough Warriors with head coach Lisa Downs, who is our coach of the year. So I wanted to ask you girls, what were the team rituals for the season?
We had a lot of team rituals. We were very superstitious because our coach was, and it really rubbed off on us. But one thing we'd say our goals before every game, honestly, we'd have some sort of song, some group singing going on before every game, which was kind of weird.
What was the one that we were singing for the state championship game? What was that?
I don't even know what we were singing.
But the boys had just lost, and we were singing in the locker room, and then
they started knocking on the door because it was like there was like one little screen between the two locker rooms. And then also what we do is before, like, well, when we're doing the national anthem, we, like, tap our feet before each game, too.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
That's awesome.
Nice.
Did you? I'm sorry. Did anybody else say? Go ahead if you have.
I have a lot more. I have a
Okay,
lot more
Caleb, you have
questions.
questions?
Yeah, sure. I actually have a question for both of the players. How did hard work and practice translate to wins?
Well, practice makes perfect. Practice, whatever you do in practice will reflect on what you do in the game. So coach would have to, bring us back on track a couple times to make sure that that message got across. But anytime we had a good practice, it would result in a good game, or a little bit of a poor practice would reflect in other games as well.
we also, every practice before a game, we always did the exact same thing. And I feel like that also helped with our superstition. Like, we always needed to do the same thing.
All right, so I wanted to ask you guys, how do you prepare yourselves to face an opponent?
Well, coach does a lot of research. I don't know when she has the time to do all of it, but she'll print out like a scouting sheet, and it's like 3-4 pages front and back. And we'll go over all that. We'll watch film. She'll put film on like a huddle thing where we'll all watch that. And we just look at the players that we're going to be guarding or we're going to be facing, and then we'll practice on how we would play it. So we have an assistant coach who will like almost like impersonate another player on the other team, and then we'll work on that in practice.
We call those dummies. No, I'm just playing. I'm just kidding. Don't listen to me.
Yeah, every practice, either like 2 days before a game or a day before a game, we would go over this packet. During practice, we would make sure that each player like knew everything that they had to do to prepare to defend against each player, and it really just got us ready for the games.
So, Coach, what advice would you give to any young girls out there that want to like try out for the team someday?
They just have to continue working on the game. I think it's important that they play more than one sport. I think it's good for, mentally and physically. You're not wearing out the same muscle groups, but you're also getting excited to play that sport again after having played something else, in the interim. So I'm not saying ever put the ball down, but I think it is good to just be a little, try other things, especially when they're young. Try soccer, try basketball, softball, try, I will say lacrosse and field hockey. But there's, just try other things. But those are the girls that specialize in basketball. They all still play something else. But they have to make sure that they never put the ball down. So they can be in season with something else, but they need to still get their shots up. They still need to get out in their backyard and play some one-on-one with a sibling or with a parent. And, the time that they're investing in their game outside the season is really going to pay off in dividends.
All right, so we got another call. Hello, you are second to appear on 40 Sports Talk. Is this Dominic Damiano?
Catherine,
Who am I speaking with?
speaking with Louie.
Oh, your husband. How you doing, Louie?
I'm doing well. You're doing a great job there, Catherine. You and all your coworkers.
Thank you. So do you have any questions?
Yeah, I just want to ask the coach and the players. I know I've heard from other female girl teams when they're going up against tougher opponents, they practice it with the boys team. I wonder if that ever happened with your team.
We didn't ever practice with the boys team. However, I'm fortunate that one of my assistant coaches was on my 2018 state championship team, and she played in Division I in college. So, and she's about 5'10", but she can play. She was a guard, so she can play point guard. She can play a big, and so she's the one that Maddie referred to. That's able to kind of be that person. That's the key person that we're focusing on our opponents, and she would do exactly as they do in terms of what they would offensively or defensively, and that really helped us with preparing for each opponent, who's always a little bit different. But we also, this year, we were very, very strong. So we didn't have a big drop off from our top 5 to our second 5. So when we do scrimmage each other, either when I intermingle everybody onto teams, or we play the top 5 against the second 5, there was strong competition. And so I would harp on them that the better that the harder we played against each other, the better we were going to become. And I think the girls really bought into that. And, they weren't playing, to make the other person they were guarding look better out there. They were playing to make them work harder, which was going to make them a better player for the next day.
Cool beans. Congratulations, Coach. Congratulations, girls.
Thank you. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Oh, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Thanks for the call, Louie. All right. Any other questions?
All right, I got a good one.
There you go.
All right, so looking back on the success of the season, what do you think it takes to become an award winner?
Well, first of all, I have to have good players. So, you have to have the girls that are going to be committed, not just to picking up the ball on December 1st or whenever that tryout begins. It's putting in the time, the effort in during the off season, like I've said, because basketball's not one of those games you can just pick up and expect to be good at. So you have to make sure that the girls are bought in. And I've always said, way back when I first started, I always really looked up to Lainey, who was the coach at Oliver Ames, who was there for, 40 years or so, because she was actually coaching when I played at Foxborough High School. And she just built this dynasty. That's what it felt like to me. I'd walk into the Oliver Ames gym, and I'd see all the banners, and I'd see her, and I'd just be like, it was intimidating, honestly, as a new coach. And I can remember as a player that intimidation. And so my goal 12 years ago was to build that at Foxborough. And it didn't come overnight. I only won 4 games my first year. But now I got my 200th win this year, so I got I'm 204 now. And I think by this year, having been the state championship coach for 3 of our 4 championships that have those banners on our wall, now I feel like there's more work to be done. Don't get me wrong, but I feel like I've built what I was hoping to build 12 years ago. So it's pretty fun.
Sometimes that fear can build inspiration, motivation, and success. And that's what you have is success here at Foxborough. 12 years of coaching, and you've built something that's so special, and you've changed lives. You've changed young ladies' lives. You've changed some coaches' lives, and now you're inspiring somebody to be a great coach. After those 12 years of winning 2 championships, 3. Oh my God, I missed one, huh? 3 championships. Now you're 2023 champion. What is 24 looking like? And what is the hardest thing, after 12 years in the game that, you got new kids coming along? Coaching is easy. Mm-hmm. It's consistency. You've done it. What's hard? What's the struggle? What is it? The kids? The
yeah,
ladies?
I mean, it can be. I mean, I think, for first of all, for the first part of your question, so 2024 looks great.
Mm-hmm.
Besides these 2 lovely ladies, I don't graduate anyone else.
Right.
And so we were a young team this year, and so I'm going to have all those girls back next year with now a year of experience under their belt. But with that comes also a big target on our backs.
Absolutely.
So I think that's going to be keeping them sharp. Hopefully it does, because they know that every game people are looking to knock us off more than any other team, and they have us our games will be circled on those calendars. So that'll be good for them to have that realization that people are really gunning for us.
Absolutely.
But I think in terms of every year, every year is a different feeling, and I think you said, like, after reading off all those names, and what do you feel? And I just feel happy. Like, I love that group. And like, you'd say another name, like, oh, Izzy, or like, so that's like, and like, these girls make me laugh so much. And life gets, and life is not easy. And but those couple of hours that I get with these girls, it fills me. It's part of what I am, and it's part of what I love. And so I think every year I hope to have that same feeling, but you never know. Well, next year I'm lucky enough that I have the core back, but once I start graduating, some of these girls, it's that feeling like, am I still going to love it? Am I still going to have that feeling? Because it's not the same every year.
Right.
Every year gives you different challenges, different personalities, different parents.
Yep.
You know, so there's a lot that goes into it. And so, you know, I think the time for me to be done is when I don't feel that excitement anymore.
Absolutely.
So when you know, because I still feel the countdown to the day that I get to be on the court with these girls again.
Right, indeed.
And girls, I know you're going to miss Coach. You're moving on. So what are your future aspirations and goals?
Well, I'm going to UMass Amherst next year, and I'm majoring in biology, and I'm going on a pre-med track. So hopefully in like 10 years, I'll be in med school, whatever.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
And I'm going to Indiana University. Hopefully, I'm going to study psychology and hopefully maybe go to med school, but we'll see.
That's great. Congratulations. Congratulations. That's awesome. So, Coach, I know your community involvement with Foxborough, your townie. We were just talking about that during break. And talking about their logo, I guess. So tell us a little bit about that, as well as the Foxborough Food Pantry, the Sage School, and the basketball camps.
So, so in terms of the logo, so I did play basketball at Foxborough High School. We were always the Foxborough Warriors, and there's been a trend recently in high schools that do have the Warrior logo that there's a lot of talk amongst the towns of changing that logo or changing the name.
Okay, Coach, I'm going to have to interrupt you because we've got to take our last break.
Okay.
But when we come back, definitely continue. All right, so you are listening to 4 Deep Sports Talk. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, all one word.
All one word, 4deepsportstalk.com. We will be right back with more right after these messages. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to 4 Deep Sports Talk here at 1320 AM WARA. We are talking with the Foxborough girls basketball team, the state champions, with head coach Lisa Downs. But before we continue talking with them, Justin Ferreira, aka the Sportsmaster, has some scores in baseball from Friday night.
Okay, in the Bay State Division, there's Walpole, Braintree, Natick, St. Mary's, Weymouth, and Latin Academy. In Capes and Islands, Falmouth, Barnstable, Nantucket. In Catholic Central Division, St. Mary's, Weymouth, Newton South, Arlington Catholic, and Snowden. In Hockomock, Walpole, Braintree, North Attleboro, and Milford. In the Patriot Division, Hingham, Hanover, Pembroke, Wilmington, Plymouth North, and Duxbury. In South Coast, Apponequet, Bourne, Greater New Bedford, and Dayton Rehoboth. In Tri-Valley, Hawkinton, Westwood, and Holliston. And that's your baseball scores for yesterday.
All right, awesome. So, did you want to get back to your question with Coach?
Yeah. So, Coach, I know you held that thought, but just curious about the community involvement that you are involved in, being a Foxborough townie.
Yeah.
So, we were talking about the logo. Give us more about that. What's going on with that logo?
So it was brought up in the school committee meeting that there was talk about changing the logo, and so it was a pretty full room that night with a lot of us that had grown up in the town, or just people who felt passionate about keeping the logo as is. And we had a family of indigenous people that reside in Foxborough that was also speaking out on behalf of keeping the logo. They thought getting rid of it made them feel even more invisible in the town, because they are such a small percentage of our community. So I just feel very strongly about keeping it. I feel that if there had been someone in our town that had stepped up and said that it was offensive to them as an indigenous person, I absolutely would have said, yep, then let's change it. But that didn't happen. And I just, looking at that center of our court with the Warrior logo on there, it's part of my life, and I love looking at it. I love what it represents in terms of perseverance and determination, and hard work, teamwork, and so all those attributes that that logo means to me is what I hope it would mean to not just my girls now, but the youth coming up as well.
And talk a little bit about the food pantry that you're involved in as well.
Yeah, I've been involved with running the food pantry for about 21 years, and so my mother had overseen it and run it, and then she passed away 21 years ago, so I took it on then. And it's just been something that I just wanted to carry on what she had been doing, and it's just my role in the community, and just a way for me to give back and feel good about what I do. And my husband and I brought our kids up being invested in the food pantry and the Foxborough Discretionary Fund, and we help out at the holiday. I run the holiday program for the town. I've been doing that this will be my 22nd year. So it's just part of who we are, and I think it's important for the youth, and I try to get my girls involved as often as possible and just giving back to the community whenever possible.
And the Sage School and the basketball sports camps.
So I work at the Sage School in Foxborough, which is a private school for gifted students, and I just work in the front office, but it's just, I love working with children, and it also is just a way for me to coach basketball because of the hours that it allows me to work. And I don't run the basketball camps anymore. I used to run Bain basketball camps, but I do some summer camps at the Sage School for mostly just Foxborough youth on the small scale, but I do a lot of volunteering in the summer, just getting out to some of the younger teams that are trying to keep the girls playing. They'll go to local playgrounds. We have Payson Road, which is some outdoor courts, so I'll go down there and give some lessons and whatnot. So I love to stay around the game.
Wow. Congratulations. That's why you are our Coach of the Year.
Thank you.
Here at 4 Deep Sports Talk. Definitely well-rounded and definitely should be commendable for that. So
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
So my next question for all of you is, who would you say is your biggest motivation?
So who is?
Yeah,
Or just
just
In general.
In
Okay.
general.
She passed the
Gotta be
mic over
somebody
here.
there that you aspire to.
Probably just say my mom. I feel like she can really look up to her. She's gone through a lot in life, and she's very strong. So definitely, she really wanted me to play basketball this year for my senior year, and she definitely inspired me to play again.
Yeah, I would say my family too. They were scouting the games before I was. I'd be coming home after a game and they're already watching the next game on the TV. But also just in general, like my coach and our teammates, we just did our best to support each other and do our best for everyone because every individual effort affects the team.
Yeah, that's awesome.
What about you, Coach? Do you have any?
I think, you know, the person I had spoken about earlier, Judy Sullivan, my college coach, was one that really inspired me to do what I do and to do it similarly to how she had done it. But again, it's, you know, I big hats off to my husband who allows me to do what I love to do. And it's not just, you know, a 3-month job. If you're going to do it the way I want to do it, it's a year-round commitment, and he knows that. I mean, he bought into this, so. But I really I'm appreciative of what he, you know, lets me do because he knows I love it.
And my last question for all of you is, who's your favorite NBA or WNBA player, and why is that?
I mean, just based off recent events, Caitlin Clark, I mean, she just shows such great confidence on the court, and that's who I aspire to be like, even just with my presence not on the basketball court.
I would also agree with Maddie. She's just a very strong player, and it's very nice to watch her.
And I loved all the WNBA, all the college women playing this year. I honestly, I think I watched more women playing in March Madness than men this year, which was a different opportunity for me. But I absolutely love Al Horford on the Celtics. He's my favorite. He's not the one out there scoring, 20 plus points every night, but every single time he's on the court, he's a leader. He does the things on defense that you typically don't see people do out there. And then, I watch what happens off the court too, and the girls know this. I'll watch what happens on the bench, and that's a lot of what I pay attention to. And the leadership that he brings to the court when someone will come off the court, he's right up on them, and you can see how animated he is, and he's instructing them and giving them high, props for what they had done out there, and the enthusiasm he shows on the bench. So those are the little things that really mean a lot to me as a coach. So that's why I love Mr. Horford.
And he's the oldest one on the team, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I like the fact that he could shoot from 3-pointers
Last night he did.
from the position he plays, and any player that plays any other positions, that's impressive to me. Besides point guard.
Big Al.
Yeah.
And they're pretty hot right now. So,
They are.
Yeah.
Good luck to them, and we'll all be watching.
Congratulations to you guys.
Yes, absolutely.
Ladies.
Thank you very much.
Yes,
Yeah, thank
ma'am.
you so
Yes,
much
ma'am.
for coming on, and congratulations again on winning the championship. And congrats on the Coach of the Year.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah,
Good
you're
luck to you
welcome.
girls. I mean, your whole life is ahead of you. It's going to be awesome.
All right, so next week we will have the Archbishop Williams. I believe it's boys basketball because our boys basketball player of the year is on that team.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what Dom
Excellent.
texted us.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So, girls, anything you want to say before you leave us? Woo!
Well, thank you for having me. I loved answering all the questions. It was a great
You guys were
environment to be.
great.
Thank you so much, and I'm just going to miss basketball and playing for our coach.
Yeah.
It's not going to be the same. Even the first day we didn't have practice, it felt off.
It felt really off.
Oh.
All right, so with Antron Peebles, Sean Sylvia, Caleb Tremblay, Justin Ferrer, a.k.a. the Sportsmaster, Lucy Cabral, a.k.a. Paparazzi. I'm Catherine Conley, a.k.a. KC, on behalf of Dominic Damiano, as Lucy likes to call him the fearless leader. We will see you next time on 4 Deep Sports Talk.